after me. O Lord, thou hast made us for thyself.
Lord, thou hast made us for thyself.
And our hearts are restless
And our hearts are restless
until they find their rest in thee.
until they find their rest in thee.
Ecclesiastes 5 starts like this. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Be careful. Draw near to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools who don't even realize they're doing wrong. Do not be quick with your mouth or hasty in your heart to utter anything to God. God is in heaven. You're on earth. Let your words be few. As a dream comes with lots of anxiety and care, so a fool produces many words. When you make a vow to God, when you make a promise, pay your vow. Don't neglect it. Don't drag your feet about it. Don't let your mouth cause you to sin and your promise making cause you to sin, so that when the temple messenger comes to collect on your promise, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was a mistake." Why should God be irritated? Why should you provoke him to the point of discipline? Much talk and many words are meaningless. Instead, stand in awe of God. As a dream comes out of much care and anxiety, some of your translations might say effort. It's a sense of like frustrated, can't get it. And this sounds exactly like my dreams. Recently I dreamed that Karen and I were at a line at the airport with all our carry-on luggage, and this line snaked endlessly through the airport. Just when you thought you were getting to the front, no, you come around a corner and it would go even further. And to my great dismay, I looked down and realized I had lost track of my own carry-on luggage, and I was carrying somebody else's at this point. And I remember thinking to myself, well, if we ever get on the plane, we'll just have to sort it all out, like, whose is this? Oh, that's mine. So, I thought maybe it'll work out. But I was frustrated and full of anxiety through my dream. I was also recently at a Renaissance fair in my dream. And it was overnight camping at the Renaissance fair, and somehow all my stuff, I had a backpack full of my nice stuff, and somehow it got distributed all over. I don't think it was ill intent. I think it was just, careless. And so I'm going around trying to find all my stuff, and I can't get my stuff. It's just driving me nuts. Anxiety, agitation. I wake up from these dreams like, oh, wow. And sometimes I say to Karen, I'm so troubled. Waking up, I need a minute to just calm down. I feel like physically affected by this dream. Some of you don't know that pastors often have dreams that we're suddenly supposed to speak somewhere and we're not prepared. It's like the final exam dream that you didn't prepare for, except now you're supposed to address a large crowd and you're just making it up, winging it, and it's terribly stressful. It's more stressful than the conventional forgot to put pants on dream, which you've probably all had that one too, where you go, how could I have walked out of the house like this? And it's so agitating. And what happens is in our dreams, we're dealing with our insecurities and our fears, our frustrations, things we can't control. And in our dreams, that we just get to tell a story about those things to ourselves. And it's kind of our body's way of saying, this is really bothering you, You can't control this thing. And it's a window into the restlessness of our souls, really. And so here we have this admonition to be quiet and grounded and still in God's presence, and not to use words, not to use a lot of words. I was thinking, if I go on and on about this, I'll be using lots of words to talk about not using lots of words. So, just think about that for a minute. The limit of words and being able to be still in God's presence. It talks about being respectful in the house of God. If you were to go over to somebody's house for dinner, would you just come in, kick your shoes off, go into the fridge, grab a beverage, and then look around and go, you know what? This looks good, but I think it needs another salad. Where's your lettuce? I'll get making another salad. Your host would go, what? And then you say, yeah, I was just thinking. And you start, there in their house, you start telling them all about the things they should do and the things that their house reminds you of and what needs fixed. And you'd be like intruding onto their turf with no sense of respect for them. And it says when you come to the house of God, you're a guest in his house. You don't go blah, 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 blah about all your thoughts. And you're like, oh, I'm the guest. So there's a sense in which you defer. You listen. You're not full of words. Not full of promises, for sure. The idea is there's almost like peer pressure to make a promise. So you go along with it, and then you go, oh, I didn't really want to do that. Sorry, Lord, I'm backing out of that one. Instead, stand in awe. Rather, fear God, stand in awe of God. I think our hearts are so restless, it's hard for us to do this. And God knows it's hard to be us. I don't mean that God knows. I mean, literally, God knows it's hard to be us. And he understands why life is challenging and why we're restless. But there's a learning curve, I think, that I would like us to move toward and lean into as a congregation. And this would be to start to value slower, quieter times. And, everything that you're good at now, you used to be crappy at. Were you always good on the trumpet?
I can't remember.
Trumpet is his first instrument. He just picked up cello for fun. So
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I grew up playing them both.
Oh, you played them both, right? Okay. But you used to be crappy at least one of them, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Everything you're good at now, you used to be crappy at. You're probably crappy at being quiet and still. You going to just stay there? I don't do that. It's not my personality. We're going to talk about that. But first, I want you to see the theme of this chapter is not so much worship and then money. It's more like restless worship and then restless money. There's an agitation and a not being satisfied through the whole thing. Look at verse 10. One who loves money will never be satisfied. See, there's no peace, there's no rest. It's that same restlessness that shows up, and I got to have a little more, I got to have a little more. And then you get more, and then more things consume those things. And then look at verse 12. The sleep of the laborer is sweet. Did you get the idea of rest? Calm. Goes to sleep. Meanwhile, the rich person can't sleep. They're worried about losing it all through some bad investment or the stock market, or if they're in management. If you're in management, you never can stop working. You go home from work, but your job doesn't stop when you go home. You're on call all the time. If the website goes down, it's you. If the truck doesn't deliver, it's you. You're on 24/7. You never rest if you're in management. And maybe you don't even sleep well because you know that if there's a problem and the website does go down, your phone is going to be the one that's ringing. Whereas the guy who's working for $30 an hour, he leaves. I don't know, people used to punch out. I don't know what they do now. They just facial recognition when they leave. They leave, and now they don't think about it until they get back to the same place the next day. But that's not true if you're in management, so you can't rest the same way. You're always on. Do you ever feel like you're always on duty? You can't turn it off? Like your phone, you can't live without it. There's an actual DSM diagnosis called screen addiction. People are being treated for screen addiction. They can't stop being on. So there's this restlessness and this groundedness. And when you're restless in your work and you're restless with your money, the summary is in verse 16. Just as you were born, so you will die. What advantage is there for him who strives and labors for what? For wind. All his life he eats in darkness with great irritation, sickness, and anger. Let me read that again, and you picture who comes to mind. Hopefully it's not me. All his life he eats in darkness with great irritation, sickness, and anger. Anybody come to mind? Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah? Everyone else is gone. Think of the movie. Everyone else goes home. He's there at night with his candle, still counting his funds at night. But he's irritated, he's stingy, he's sick, and he's mad all the time. Ebenezer Scrooge. So there's a restlessness that all that stuff he had could not quiet. And then the dreams, and then, he wakes up and decides maybe there's more to life than just accumulation. And, you hear that joyous, what morning is it? Oh, it's Christmas morning, sir. And he's like, go out and buy all the geese in the thing and give them away. It's just like suddenly his perspective has changed. What, from being angry and annoyed with his work and his money to being like, there's more. There's more. What is money but the power to bless? Right? What is money but the power to bless? And then you get this feeling at the end of the chapter where there's a groundedness again. Here's what I've seen to be good and fitting. Eat, drink, and enjoy oneself and all one's labor, which he labors under the sun. Enjoy. This is our theme for the year. Enjoy. Enjoy your work. I thought he hated his work. Half the time he hates his work. The other rest of the time he's like, enjoy your work. And you're like, Solomon, are you like manic depressive? What's going on here? Well, you hate your work when you need it to be everything. You hate your money when you need it to be everything. But when you see that it's not everything, and that you connect with, you're standing in awe of God and he's grounding you, then the same things that used to make you mad and frustrated and agitated, those same things now you see as a gift. They don't have to be God. There is a God. You don't need those things to be God. So you can enjoy the same things you hated. Furthermore, is to every person whom God has given riches and wealth, he has also given him the opportunity to enjoy them. It comes from God, not just the stuff. Notice, it's not just the stuff that comes from God. It's the ability to not be mad at them. It's to look at that same 401k and go, thank you. Instead of, it's never enough. I'll be 94 when I retire. Thank you. He has given him the opportunity to enjoy them, to receive his reward, and rejoice, what? In his labor. It comes from God. It's a gift from God. And then verse 20, doesn't this sound like a grounded person? He will not often call to mind the years of his life, because God keeps him busy with the joy of his heart. He's not watching himself go through life. There's a self-forgetfulness. He doesn't often call to mind the years of his life. He's not watching himself live. He's just living. And God keeps him occupied with the joy of his heart. Something in there for us. Learning to stand in awe. I want you to picture, I'll tell you my story, and maybe you can relate to this. I have a grandson. We have a grandson named Henry. Henry is an active child. He's busy. And a lot of the times when I see him, I want to sit with him. I want him to sit on my lap and just like snuggle in and read a book or something. Do you think Henry wants to do this? Henry does not want to do this. He wants to build a tower. He wants to go find a book. He wants to bring me a burger. He wants to jump on his little mini tramp. He wants to do all kinds of active things. Now what I want is just to sit with him. And I could physically I have the strength to hold him there against his will. Somehow that doesn't seem like that would be the same thing though, right? He'd be throwing a fit while I'm holding him there and I'm like, you're going to sit still and enjoy this, you know? And I just thought how that reminds me of little me and how God says, could you maybe just sit? And you're like, well, I got stuff to do. Okay, all right. Well, when you're done with your stuff, then can you maybe just come and sit? Oh yeah, Lord, when I'm done with everything. Right? And we don't really have, I'm like a toddler in relation to my ability to focus and stay in one place and to sit. Now, I want to draw an analogy from the world of public speaking. I teach public speaking at 2 universities in the area, and I really delight in helping 18-year-olds face their fear. Right, Sydney? Have you had this class yet, the public speaking?
No, I haven't.
Is it coming? It's coming?
I don't think I have to.
Oh boy. I'm going to write the dean and say, you need to take this course. Okay? So these 18-year-olds, most of them don't want to get up in front of people. And here's the bind for them. You have a physiological response when you get up in front of people, like I am right now. Most of you would have your amygdala, your primitive brain thinks you're in danger, so it activates all the protection things. That means your heart rate increases, you get sweaty, your mouth goes dry. What else? Yeah, you cry. Yeah. Some people's neck goes red and it flushes. Their face might go red. There's nothing you can do about it. You're physiologically triggered by this event, right? So what I tell my students is, stop wasting time trying to not be nervous. It's impossible not to be nervous. Just accept it. You think you're different than everybody else in the world? No. Well, then get up and be nervous, like we all do. Okay, so they get up, and I say, my goal is to make you as nervous as possible before you ever give your first speech, because then your brain will go through desensitization, and you'll be able to sort of find your ground. But here's the rub. It takes about 7 to 8 minutes for the average person standing in front of a group for their body to calm down. It takes that long for your brain to realize nobody is going to throw eggs at you. No one's going to hang you, draw and quarter you. And eventually, after about 7 or 8 minutes, you regulate. Even if you start out really nervous, your brain can't keep up that level of stimulation for that long, so it starts to calm, right? Here's the rub, though. The speeches are only 5 to 6 minutes long by requirement. So what happens is they run out of speech before they ever find themselves and relax. So we have 2 choices. I'm not allowed to make the speeches longer. So the only other thing we can do is to say, how can we learn to regulate faster so that while you're still in your speech, your body can relax and you can be your best presenter so that you're not, and here's the 3 questions that come in every student's head. Is it long enough? You know how long 1 minute felt? 5 minutes feels like a time. So is it long enough? Am I doing a good job? Those questions are just running through their heads. Am I going to get a good grade? Am I going to fail the speech? So it's all rumination about self. Now, meanwhile, they have a subject they're supposed to talk about, but they've been hijacked by these 2 questions. Is it long enough? Am I doing it right? And do I get credit for this? And so these 3 questions, which are totally self-focused, are their enemy. And you have to get through those faster, settle those faster, to be able to talk like yourself. Aren't any of you ready to take the course? We can do it. Okay, now, let's switch to prayer. Pastor Dave says, got to learn to be still and quiet. And you come in and you try it, you sit down somewhere. What's the first 3 questions? Is it long enough? How long do I have to do this? Am I doing it right? And do I get credit for this? Like, is this enough? And so these 3 questions keep ruminating around in your head, and after 2 or 3 minutes you go, I guess I did enough. It wasn't very fun, but my mind is just racing. The other thing that pops in your head is get milk on the way home. So you're trying to have this holy time of quietness, and all you can think of is, is it going to rain tonight? Can I mow tonight? And so your brain, your mind, your brain, your heart are still restless. Well, here's what we want to do. We want to get through those first 3 or 4 minutes and just let them pass. Let them run out. And tell yourself, it's normal to feel like I'm anxious. It's normal to be distracted by all kinds of things. I'm just going to let those run out because they will eventually run out of steam. You know what, those pocket hoses, the ones that inflate, they're really cool, except there's the one thing I've noticed about a pocket hose. When you take the thing off, nozzle thing off the end, it sits there and sprays for another 2 minutes. It's got all this water built up in its pressure that it just has to keep, it takes 2 minutes to blow all the water out. I'm standing there just waiting for this thing to drain, right? Well, that's like it is. You go in and you sit down before God and you stop I'm going to stop and be still. But you still have 2 minutes of rumination and thoughts and all these things. And we have to learn to just let them play out. Let them play out. Don't scold yourself and go, dummy, I'm no good. It's normal. Just let it play out. And what you'll find is, on the other side of those questions, am I doing it right? Is it long enough? Am I getting credit? There's a place where He will meet you. But we often give up after 3 minutes before the water's all run out of the line. Beyond the question of doing it right, beyond the question of doing it long enough, watching yourself. There is a Creator who made you, who has a place to meet after your mind stops its racing. When I try to do this, I'm like little Henry. I don't like it. If I don't stay with it, I'm not even going to give you a time frame, because then you'll measure your time frame against mine and go, oh, I should be done with this by now. No. Until that sort of opening period when the water's running out of the hose, until that is done, I don't like it. I just as soon cross it off and get going. So maybe you need more time to say, Lord, I'm crappy at this. My mind is so distracted. I'm so worried about not doing it or doing it wrong. I just present myself to you flawed, but I want you. Help me through this. I want to be on the other side of these plaguing questions. And He will meet you there. And after a while, on a few occasions, it has occurred to me, this is what it is. I didn't know. So this is what it is. Even then, I'm on the verge of watching myself. So I have to say, let it go. Let it go. The goal is not to get it right. The goal is to find you, Lord. If you're there, then I want to be there too. On Wednesdays, we have all afternoon open here. And, you guys are staying away in droves. There's no line out front to come in and have quiet time. And I know you're busy. You have good intentions. You think I'll do it next week, whatever you think, I don't know. And certainly you can do this in the park. You can do this taking a shower. You certainly don't have to be in this place. But if you need a little bit of accountability, a little bit of all right, I'm going to put it on the calendar, or I know it won't happen. If you need something like that, it's just one way to approach it. Why don't I challenge you to come and walk right by me and come in here and just sit and say, I guess, Lord, everything that I'm good at now, I used to be crappy at. So let's see what happens. And then on your way out, we can talk about it. And you can say, I hated it. That's my last time. I'm never doing that again. That's terrible. Or you could say, whatever you want to say. I don't know. There's no right answer. But how long are we going to say, that's a good idea, somebody else should do that? Right? I hope my spouse is listening.